Well, welcome to another of our Meet the Candidates segments. I am Mark Dearmon, your State Impact Chair, and I'm very excited to have our endorsed candidate for the Department of Public Instruction, Superintendent of the Department of Public Instruction, Catherine Truitt. Catherine is currently the Chancellor of Western Governors University, which is our virtual university with 3,800 students in North Carolina, so she's going to fit right into this COVID mold if she gets the job. She'll know all about virtual learning. But we're happy to have her. She did a great interview with us, and we wanted to give you a chance to get to know her along with all of our other endorsed candidates. So please give Catherine a good look and consider supporting her for Superintendent of Public Instruction. And now I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Ardis Watkins, to lead the conversation. Ardis?
Okay. Chancellor Truitt, thank you for coming and sitting with us during I know that you're in the middle of doing something else and you've carved out some time and gone to a back room to make this happen so that our members could get to know more about you, and we appreciate that. So I'm going to jump right into it. SEANC members don't always think about the Department of Public Instruction other than the employees that work there who are state employees. But as far as the mission in all of the public schools, a lot of times some people don't think about that, even though we have some public school members. So tell us why SEANC members should care about the Superintendent of Public Instruction job and why you're the right person for that job.
Thank you so much, Ardis and Mark, as well, for organizing this opportunity. And First, I just want to say I'm so honored to have received this endorsement. And one of the reasons that I'm so honored is because when we think about the way that schools function and the way that that adults in a building come alongside students and interact with them on a day-to-day basis, because remember, kids spend more time at school normally than they do at home. We have to think beyond our classified staff, which means our teachers. We have to think about our non-classified staff. We have to think about our bus drivers and the folks who serve meals in our cafeteria. And in the case of COVID, the superheroes who made sure that children were being fed. Because oftentimes for about a quarter of students in our state, their meals at school are the only meal that they're going to get, that breakfast and lunch. And countless other people who are in support of the work that teachers do, complementary to that work. Behind every teacher is about 4 or 5 other school support personnel who are working to ensure that each and every student has everything they need to be successful. And in some cases, that includes, basic needs like food and transportation, quite frankly. So when I think about districts, I think about the full spectrum of everyone who needs support. And our school support personnel and classified staff need to know that the department, as the agency, the administrative agency of the State Board of Education, has their back and is interested in supporting them through the state retirement system, the state health plan, and thinks of them as essential as our teachers.
So, you bring up the state health plan and the state retirement system, and you're absolutely right. For state employees, that's the shooting match. That's, nobody's coming to work for the state because they're going to get rich. But right. The steady benefits have been the thing that have been the draw for state employees. And as you are well aware, Treasurer Falwell has been making some serious efforts in the last couple of years to keep healthcare costs in line. And what are your feelings about that? If you were Superintendent of Public Instruction, would you encourage those efforts?
Yeah, so it's important that to note for your viewers that the state superintendent is, of course, part of the Council of State, as is the state treasurer. And I have learned so much from Treasurer Falwell. I've never run for anything before, and while I have served for a sitting governor, it was not as part of the Council of State. It was as a policy person in education policy, and so I've learned so much from him. And actually, before I met him, I actually am a former state employee. I was a teacher in Johnston County for some time. And so I was very interested in, how the state health plan, how teasers, the retirement plan is doing. And so I found some independent research that showed that he had grown the pension fund 6.9%. Is that correct? Or 6.3%?
I'm not positive what the exact amount, but he has certainly grown it.
Yeah, up to $108 billion. It is the top five, if not the strongest pension fund in the country right now. And what I also learned from my research was that he did this in a climate that was pushing up against him constantly, criticizing him for decisions that he made and claiming that he needed to be more aggressive. And yet he managed to grow it near 7%, which is absolutely incredible. And so I think of Treasurer Falwell and I as a team because we are laser focused on serving our employees that support our schools. And again, this includes not just teachers, but all of those other bus drivers and cafeteria folks, all of the custodians, all of the people who are kind of working behind the scenes to make sure that our schools run smoothly.
Well, one of the things that we're very excited to support your candidacy. But one of the things that excited the panel that interviewed you the most was that you were also supportive of all of the employees' rights to have all of the associations that would be interested in organizing come into the schools and be able to talk with employees, give them all their options for advocacy.
That's exactly right. Right now in North Carolina, our dominant teacher association is the North Carolina Association of Educators. And, it's hard to know exactly what their membership is because they've not been incredibly forthright about those numbers. But best estimates are that it's around about 20% of teachers are represented in this organization. Now, we don't know how many of their total organization is made up of non-certified staff.
Right.
And so what I would like to do is provide as many options as possible for folks to join the organization of their choice, the association of their choice. And in order to make all of the information available, we have to provide access to these people. And so for me, what that means is partnering with our regional, there are groups in different regions of the state called the RISAs, partnering with our regional alliances, and then coming down into districts one at a time, getting in front of superintendents to help them understand why. The Superintendents Association, part of their legislative priority is increasing pay for the exact folks that we're talking about, as well as ensuring that these roles do not go unfilled at schools. And so I am confident that with some teamwork and some collaboration, that we can make this organization even stronger by encouraging, and again, so there's just a knowledge gap. You know, we have to make sure that people know that SEANC is an option for them and know what everything that SEANC provides. And the only way to do this is to get in front of the people who work for our schools.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Absolutely. We can't let one group monopolize this conversation.
Right. Just let people know their options. So what is the one thing you would want to leave people with that they should know about you before they go to their ballot box?
You know, what I would love for people to know about me, Ardis and Mark, is that I'm not a politician. I've had people say to me, well, you entered this race, so by golly, you are a politician. I've never run for anything in my life. When I left the classroom and left teaching and entered the policy space, I was an outsider in Raleigh. I didn't know anybody. I built a reputation for myself for being a consensus builder and for reaching across the aisle and wanting to do what's right. And being a truth teller and always putting students first. And again, putting students first means looking at the whole ecosystem of how our schools serve their students. And that includes all employees of the school. And so I would love for your members to know that I want to do what's right by students, what's right by them, and also that I do not view this role as something political. I view this role as a necessary part of ensuring that our students receive a good education so that our economy will thrive and that everyone can, can exercise the God-given talents that they were born with.
That sounds awesome. And we are thrilled to support Catherine Truitt for Superintendent of Public Instruction. Back to you, Mark.
All right. Thank you very much, Ardis, and thank you, Chancellor Truitt. We're very excited to give you our endorsement and look forward to working with you. It's a breath of fresh air to hear someone in the education community not only refer to the teachers who we all value immensely, but to reference the folks, the infrastructure, the people that actually keep those schools working, keep the students safe, and do all these other things. Just like throughout state government, this happens. So we appreciate you recognizing.
Oh, seems we lost Mark. I know that what he was going to say there is it is definitely nice for someone to recognize every single person it takes to make our public education system work. You clearly do. And SEANC, as you go out to vote, remember Catherine Truitt for Superintendent of Public Instruction. 90% of our SEANC members are registered to vote, and 83% of them voted in 2018. So we're hoping this year maybe make 90% of those folks vote. It would be great, and we appreciate you for doing this interview, and have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.